It's frustrating, right? You've got the best ideas in the world. You've got so much talent and so much to offer the world. You know where you want to go, but you just can't quite find the motivation to begin. Or maybe you just keep telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow. But then tomorrow comes and you never start, and it's the same day in and day out until you realize it's too late. And then you ask yourself that fateful and dreaded question of, why didn't I do something sooner?
Welcome to the Human Narrative Podcast, where we share stories that resonate amongst us all.
Welcome back to the Human Narrative, my friends. I am your host, Clark, aka The Sober Web, for anyone listening in from YouTube or TikTok, and I really appreciate you all being here. And today we are going to discuss a narrative that everyone struggles with one way or another, and that narrative is procrastination. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Sorry, not sorry. That was just my fun but lame attempt of throwing a really cheesy sound effect in there. But moving on. So, procrastination. Look, this is something that we all know, and we are all guilty of procrastinating. And it's okay, my friends. There's nothing wrong with procrastination here and there. But if we're not careful, eventually it can become a physical, mental, emotional, and even spiritual hindrance for things that we want to do with our life and or get done on a day-to-day basis. But what's really scary is that procrastination can actually rob us of our dreams, aspirations, and the life that we want, because ultimately we fail to take action, and we do that for a myriad of reasons. But the question is, why? On the surface level, we can brush off procrastination as nothing more than a simple excuse to delay having to do something. I mean, I'm sure you've heard yourself say something like, oh, what's the big deal? I'll do it tomorrow because I just don't feel like doing it today. And, well, if you're like me, I mean, there are times where life teaches us that procrastinating and waiting until the last moment can inspire outside-of-the-box thinking and a focus that makes some work and effort even better than one could have ever imagined. But that is a rarity, in my opinion, because all procrastination does is cause anxiety, stress, self-loathing, guilt, and shame, which they're all self-induced because whether we want to admit it or not, we made the conscious decision to delay. And then we delayed again. And then we delayed some more until, alas, we ran out of time and our back was up against the wall and we failed to complete whatever the task was. And then, instead of accepting responsibility for our procrastination, regardless of why we procrastinated or what we were putting off for tomorrow, we make excuses. We project blame onto someone or something else. And ultimately, we avoid the root issues around our procrastination problem. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably asking yourself, okay, so what's the answer, Clark? And the simple yet complicated answer to all of it, my friends, is fear. The first idea I want you to think about is the fear of failure. We procrastinate because we are afraid of doing something we fear we will fail at. Does that resonate with you at all? Because I know this one really well because it stems from perfectionism, and it's something I struggled with for a very long time. I mean, I still do, but I've become much more aware of it, and I've learned how to tell myself to chill out and just be okay with not being perfect. But all of it stems from my childhood. I grew up in a very religious household, so I was always afraid of making a mistake and sinning. I also spent 9 years of my life golfing from 8 to 17, and when I tell you that golf was my life, I mean, it was my life to the point that it was almost like a job. And if you don't know the sport of golf, it is a mind twist of a mental sport. I mean, I would spend hours perfecting my swing and short game. I was always striving for that quote-unquote perfect shot or perfect round. And whenever I flubbed a shot or I missed a putt or I failed to get a par or better, it was a constant barrage of, you suck, Clark. Be better, Clark. Not good enough, Clark. Don't screw up again, Clark. Don't let the team down, Clark. I mean, honestly, it kind of makes me sad even saying any of that now in this podcast because I would never talk to anyone that way, let alone a little boy who just wanted to love and enjoy a sport that he was good at. but there was a lot of pressure on me from coaches and my parents. I know their intention was good because they saw potential, but eventually it took a toll on my mental and emotional health, even though no one ever really wanted to talk about it. So eventually, I quit golfing at 17, and it was a huge relief. But the fear of letting people down was already planted deep within me, and as an adult, it all began to manifest itself as a fear of failure in many aspects of my life. And since I assumed I would always fail or make the wrong decision, I would just procrastinate until someone made a decision for me or I was forced to make one that usually didn't really actually align with me or what I wanted. Which leads to another fear associated with procrastination, the fear of disappointment or being a disappointment. Now, how many times do we all stall doing something because we are afraid the outcome won't be something that we like or want? And what's even more controlling is how often do we avoid a task or decision ahead because we don't want to let someone else down or disappoint them? But the problem, my friends, is that by hemming and hawing, we end up feeling disappointed no matter what because we either never made the decision that we really wanted, or we settled on something that made other people happy, or it was less than what we deserve. Does this ring a bell at all? And then finally, there is a fear of making a mistake or a wrong decision. And this is a big one with procrastination. We research, we look at many options, we weigh the pros and cons, we discuss ideas and options with others, we perseverate, we overthink, we come to a decision, and then as soon as we're about to pull the trigger, we stop ourselves and say, nope, there must be a better option or way. I'm going to think about this just a little bit longer. And then we end up never making a decision about anything. Now, look, I could go on to list a lot more fears associated with procrastination, but the purpose of discussing this narrative is to offer solutions, not just exposing the nitty-gritty that can make us all feel helpless and hopeless. And the solution is something we all know really well because Nike's catchphrase sums it up very, very well. Just do it. And in terms of your life, my friends, just make a decision. Go for it. Stop stalling and start doing whatever it is you believe you are supposed to be doing. Some type of decision is better than no decision. And if things don't go as planned, there's always tomorrow to make another decision. If you fail, learn from the failure and try again. If you disappoint yourself or someone else, contemplate what that means and why you feel you have to prove something to yourself or someone else. But what can really help ease all of the fear related to procrastination is if you start adopting the mentality that there is no good or bad. There just is. There is a decision and there is a result. And after those two things take place, there is the process of evaluation that hopefully excludes looking at things as good or bad. And after that, you just make another decision based on the result, so on and so forth. And during it all, do your best to stay in the moment and avoid dwelling on the supposed mistakes of the past, fearing you'll make them again. Learn from them, but don't dwell on them. And then, at the same time, try to steer yourself clear of future tripping and envisioning all the way things could go wrong based on any and all options that you have before you. Trust your gut. Have faith that if you follow your instinct, everything will turn out okay. Believe in yourself and your ability to figure out ways around obstacles if and when they block your path, regardless of whatever decisions you make. Decisions that, in the past, procrastination would have robbed you of the valuable experience to learn and grow from whatever the outcome may have been. There's only today, my friends. Stop procrastinating, make a choice, and create the life you want. And, well, that's it for today, my friends. Much love and much life until the next episode. I appreciate you, I appreciate your time, and I really appreciate you supporting my podcast, The Human Narrative. I can't wait to bring you more valuable episodes in the weeks to come. Talk to you very soon. Bye.
You've been listening to another episode from the Human Narrative Podcast. Don't forget to like and share, and we hope you consider subscribing.